Thank you so much. You mentioned summer learning loss, or summer learning loss is now sort of a year learning loss. Someone mentioned, and I think rightfully so, our libraries were used as a place for many people to sort of go and actually access the internet. Not everyone has access to laptops. I've seen a lot, like a big push to sort of go online and sort of use e-learning. Is there going to be any thought giving to sort of somehow either getting kids in homes that don't have laptops to actually access things? And I also just want to put this out there. Along 3rd and Paul is one of the biggest internet infrastructure, right, underground in California. We have 2 data centers going in. There's a big junction right there that we don't have access to. So we literally have one of the biggest internet hubs, literally like in our own district. And we're not sort of taking advantage of it to the extent that we should. I mean, we could be talking about, free internet throughout our parks, throughout our district, like, to that end. But really want to sort of talk about, is there any way to get laptops into the hands of like younger people so they can take advantage of some of the e-learning? To your point around sort of learning loss.
So one, let me start off just by saying that the fact that we are even having conversations where people say people can just take lessons at home and be on the internet. We know that there are major inequities that exist in the education system. And the fact that we even think that it's possible to educate every child in San Francisco via internet tells us how much people may not still understand what inequities exist, particularly in the communities that we serve and some areas of District 10. With that said, there have been conversations about trying to get laptops into some of our communities. But my hope is, and this was a crisis and an emergency that we had to respond to quickly. We shut down schools. Of course, that is not something that anybody wants to do. We take that very serious when we get to a point where we have to close down our schools. Then the conversation is, we're going to educate people through internet. Everybody does not have internet in the home. My hope is that as we are understanding this virus, the spread, how it works, that we can quickly get back to a space and place where we can be educating young people in a setting where they're working with teachers, where they're working with educators, and getting the quality education they need. But to your point, there have been conversations about deploying laptops in certain areas across community. I don't have any concrete details on how that's going to happen, when that's going to happen. That's something that we're working on. I will be able to further get information out to everyone when that becomes a tangible opportunity. But we also don't really know how long our schools are shut down and what we're dealing with here. And we're on a minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day information and strategic planning process that across the board. And that comes from with education, how we address mental health, how we address homelessness, how we keep people safe, how we make sure people are tested, how we make sure people receive the remedy that gets them healthy when we get through this. And so we're going to keep doing everything we can, but it is very inequitable for our young people and what our young people have to deal with across the board. And that's very disconcerting for me. Obviously, we have a lot of folks trying to work to change that dynamic, but that is one of the things that I grapple with on a day-to-day basis. Having a 15-year-old at home who is not going to school every day because of this pandemic, and knowing that we have access to internet, knowing that we have a network of folks that are going to make sure that he has certain opportunities that don't exist is very problematic and disheartening for me.
Mm-hmm. One is sort of just a few more before our time is up. One, someone mentioned the fact, and I've seen this on the Citizens app a great deal, just violent crime sort of happening. And even now, as things are sort of becoming more and more tenuous, what can be done right now? Because I don't want to be alarmist, right? And I don't even necessarily think any more is happening now than at any other time. But because of the time and place that we're in, just wanted to sort of want to raise that and see what can be done. What can we do about this?
So one, our office, we spearheaded the Vision Zero on homicides and violent crime resolution that all of my colleagues signed on. And we're going to make sure that through the budget process, we address issues of community policing, increased patrols where folks are working with our community and not coming in just for enforcement, being a fabric of community. We also have our community safety plan, which we develop with every neighborhood across the district. We will soon be rolling that out. So everybody will know, how do you keep safe? How do you respond? How do you prevent violent crimes from happening in the community? But we've been talking with captains, both Captain Dangerfield, Captain Moon, about how we keep people safe during this pandemic. Crime is down during this pandemic. I want everybody to know and understand that. We still have had some recent incidents of violence in our communities. Here in District 10, we don't take that lightly. We're working on, obviously, some fixed posts in our community, some appropriate police presence. But outside of what we're doing with community policing, having officers coming to community, working with community, and not just coming in for enforcement, but being a presence so that we prevent certain incidents, we're always also working with community that has an NTAP program where they have security guards that work on some of the lines. And so we have asked for additional MTAP workers to be located in Visitation Valley along our commercial corridors, as well as down 3rd Street along our commercial corridors. And we're going to get those additional NTAP workers, and we're working to make sure that those are folks that live in our communities, that are a part of our communities, so that this is not just a police response, it's a community response, it's a neighborhood response, it's everybody working together. But in specific to the conversations we've had as of late, we're going to make sure there are fixed posts in our communities so that there's a presence that keep people safe, to let people know that this is not open season during this time, but to make sure that everybody understands we're working on safety. And I do want to reiterate, crime as a whole has gone down in double-digit percentages in the past week. Captain Dangerfield is on the line. I know he's listening, and we'll be able to get information out to community as well. But we are continuously working on neighborhood safety and having conversations on the daily about what to do.
That's great. And I wanted to sort of wrap up talking about sort of mental health, right? And anxiety and all these things that are sort of going on. I wanted to know if you and your team have sort of looked at resources that might be available to all of us, right, during this time.
Yeah, so, and that's the one thing that I want everyone to know. And it's been posted on our Twitter page. It's been posted on our Facebook page, both of our Facebook pages. I see people asking questions about what Facebook page. Shammon Walter, both of them show up. My page is a representative of this district, as well as my personal Facebook page, my Twitter at Shammon Walter. We post information up everywhere, and we sent out our newsletter with the resource guide to everyone. If there are specific questions you have about how to maintain the resource guide, about how to get this information, go to Walton staff at sfgov.org. You can also give us a call at 415-554-7670, and we'll get back to you and respond as well. But I want to be clear. People are asking about how to stay connected with us. Please remember, we will continue to stay connected via social media. You have all the information you need to reach out to us. I see some people posting right now in the chat room, and they have my cell number. So I want people to understand that I am going to always be here for you to respond. And all the questions you're asking, I know some of you asked to me personally via text, or whether you send me emails, and we're always going to be here for you to respond in every vehicle that you have available. And we will continue to do that. Great.
And with that, I want to say thank you to everyone. Really, from One Bayview, Really appreciate everyone sort of being on the line. Thank you so much, Supervisor Walton, for being here with us today. If you could, is there like one message that you want to sort of leave the audience with?
Well, the one thing, again, I just want to go back to one, making sure that everyone understands how important it is for us to be inside at this time and only go out for essential needs in our community. Two, I want to make sure that everyone is paying attention to the resources that are being sent out. I know they're going to continue to be questions, so you have our email address, you have our phone number, and we will continue to communicate consistently via all of our communication vehicles. But we are here for you as your district leadership, and just know that even during this time, we're going to be working to make sure that we stay responsible and stay responsive while we work to keep everyone safe. And I know there are some more pressing questions. We're going to be answering all of them. And we'll continue to be here as the leadership of this district. And just want to thank you all for participating today. Thank you all for your questions. Know that when we get your questions, we're sending them to the appropriate departments, to the appropriate San Francisco leadership to get you the responses and the information you need so that you all can be safe and that we can mitigate some of these negative impacts of this crisis.
And again, thank you everyone for being part of this. Again, this is Anietie Ekanem with One Bayview. Just to let you know, I'm actually doing this out of my own time. None of this is funded by government or anything else. And so if you want to sort of help out, email me at community@onebayview.com. Actually, some of you are like, hey, let's do this with OEWD. Let's do this with UCSF, like, and some other folks. So very interested in actually making that happen with your help and support, and potentially being able to sort of have us all chip in, because there's a lot of technology that sort of costs some money that I like to sort of get help on. But either way, I am here for the community, onebayview.com, and looking forward to doing more of these with each and every one of you. I really appreciate everyone here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anietie. And if it's not too late, our food bank is looking for volunteers to help with food distribution and help support our food security network. And you can go to sfmfoodbank.org to find out more. And just appreciate everyone working to chip in. Stay safe, stay indoors, be careful, please.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.